You're listening to Captain John Doe, real aviation stories told anonymously. Let's get into it. It's Wednesday. Welcome back to the Captain John Doe podcast, where we share anonymous aviation stories. I'm Mindy.
I'm your favorite host, once again, Kevin.
Yeah, and I'm your second favorite host.
You know what? The two most favorite things that I like to do?
Fly?
Get some sun and have some fun.
Oh my gosh. Is Sun and Fun paying you?
No, I wish they were. But for those of you guys listening, we are at Sun and Fun right now. We're walking the grounds. Come up, say hi.
We're gonna have at least stickers on us. Maybe we'll have some other merch. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll have at least some Captain John Doe stickers. Throw that on your cooler, your toolbox.
Yeah, but to answer your first question, flying, golf, fishing.
Yeah, we know.
Flying, golf, fishing.
Got it. Easy peasy. But yes, this is the week of Sun and Fun, so hopefully we'll get to meet a lot of you guys there. And if you're listening in wishing you were there, hop over to social media, follow me at Schmindy on Instagram. I'll be posting a lot of stories from the grounds and keeping you guys up to date with what's happening at Sun and Fun. And there's a couple interesting things going on, like Hartzell, for example, on Tuesday afternoon. They are giving out real, live, permanent, actual tattoos.
Permanent?
Isn't that cool? It's a concept, actually, that my friend Annie had come up with, and she pitched it to me. I'm like, I love it. We furthered her idea and talked to Hartzell about it. They did it at Oshkosh. It was a mix of temporary tattoos and real tattoos at Oshkosh, but they're doing something a little different at Sun and Fun, and they're doing the actual tattoos. Like, they will have tattoo artists on the grounds in one of the chalets on Tuesday afternoon. So by the time this comes out, maybe some of you have gotten your propeller tattooed on your ankle or on your lower back or something.
Well, I could tell you that I will be going to see the booth, but I will not be getting a permanent tattoo.
You don't want a tramp stamp?
I do, but not
I do.
One that is permanent.
I heard, and I don't believe it, and I don't even quote me where I heard this, that tramp stamps are coming back.
Oh, you've been reading Reddit too much, lady. I will do, if they do a temporary tattoo, I'll get a Mojo one. How about that?
We have some temporary tattoos of Mojo from Oshkosh. I don't think they're doing temps, or maybe they are. I'm not quite sure. But I can't wait to see the people that get real tattoos at Sun and Fun. How iconic to be like, yeah, I got this tattoo at Sun and Fun.
Yeah.
Or at Oshkosh or whatever.
You know, there's a lot of reasons why I'm excited about this. Biggest one is this is going to be a little break for me. You know, I know you're working, so
I don't get breaks.
But I do. And I'm excited to take a week off from instructing. You know, like something I look forward to. Like, I know I just had a break, but that was, 16 flying days ago. And
yeah, you run your schedule in a very difficult way, and it's because of our lifestyle where we do like to take a lot of trips where you only get so many allocated days off per month, and you have to stack them all together. That way we can go on our trips, and you accompany me on a lot of my own work trips because it's kind of a workcation. But that means that you work 15, 16, 17 days in a row flight instructing. So if you guys are listening, just put that in perspective. Like, that days in a row that you run are monstrous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to feel bad about myself. Like, it's self-induced, as Mindy said, because, our other instructors will take a day off here and there every week, but I'll just go 2 weeks straight. That way I can take off an entire week to do something that I really want to do. So like, this has been a grind, which is crazy because I just went on a trip. I just went skiing in Breckenridge, but like, that was March 27th when I got back, and we're sitting here, it's April whatever
14th.
Yeah, 14th. That's over 2 weeks of work
with no day
off,
right?
Ooh, hold on, just got a text message as we're doing this.
I got a text.
My one of my students just passed his instrument rating. So
No
let me text him
way.
back.
Oh, congrats to you both. That's so exciting and rewarding. Is that Jay?
Joe.
I know. I wasn't going to say his name. It's anonymous.
Well, it's funny because Jay, as Mindy said, listens to this podcast. So if you're listening, congrats. Super, super happy. This student of mine, he is not a student, he's a customer of mine. He purchased a new to him Cirrus in January, and he was only a private pilot with about 100 hours, and we nailed it. He came back and trained so much, and he lives up in Northern California, so he would commute in his plane back and forth, and we got his instrument rating already done in just a few months. So congrats.
So, talking about your lack of time off, tell me about work-life balance as a flight instructor. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it manageable? What does that look like?
I don't want to get too cliche, but I think it's like what you mentally can handle, because the answer is none. There is no work-life balance as an instructor, because if you don't work, you don't get paid.
Okay. And for people that may not know, when do you get paid? What do you get paid on? What's your billable?
So this is also a good point too. Like, I am fortunate to work at a really awesome school that pays us for ground and Hobbs time. So when I say Hobbs time, I'm talking about when the propeller is spinning. So a lot of schools out there might just pay their instructors just for that. So all the pre-flight stuff, all the post-flight stuff, they might not get paid, whereas I do get paid for that.
Okay. So anytime you're with a customer, you're getting paid.
Correct.
And then I see you at home texting clients, taking phone calls, all of that. That's outside of the scope of your billable hours.
Correct. You don't get paid for anything outside of when you're with the customer. So, an average day, let's say it's an 8-hour day, you probably work maybe 10 hours. And so 2 of those hours are not getting paid. That's pretty standard. I think every instructor who's ever done this understands what I mean, because you always are prepping for the next student. You're, filling out IAC, or you're getting a lesson plan set up, so on and so forth. And none of that is paid. So it is very unique in that aspect that you probably, even, let's say you work 6 hours in a day, you're still putting in an 8-hour day.
So when you're not instructing though, and you're home, do you generally feel that I'm off work feeling, or do you always feel like you're on?
So once again, I'm at a unique school where we're pretty much on call, because of the type of training we do is not specific to just primary training. We do a lot of Part 91 owner type flights. So if I'm not blocked off for the day, in theory, work can call me and say, hey, you need to go fly to Tahoe and pick up the owner, or something like that. So I'm really never off. But if you're asking me if my mentally brain is on, it's off.
Okay, so you feel like you have true off time when you step away from, quote, the office.
Yeah, because like you said, my phone is constantly buzzing from students, but that takes me, 5 minutes of my time. So yes, it's happening constantly, but like, it also ends usually at dinner time, no matter what. Like, I'm not being bombarded by students anymore.
Okay, so that's not too bad. I know you have a really busy, demanding job, but at least you feel like you have off time, and you're, like we talked about, you have a certain amount of days. You get 8 days off a month, and you get to use them where you choose for the most part. So you do get time off.
Yeah, I think the demanding part, and it's something that I never really thought about, like, flight instructing as a job is a customer service role. So what do I mean by that is you basically fly when your customer is available to fly. So in a perfect world, I start my day at 8 a.m. and I end my day at 4 p.m., but that's not how people's schedule works. I have relationships with my students, and they might get off work at 4 p.m. and that's when they want to come fly.
Well, yeah, some of your work days, you'll go in at 7 and then you'll fly till, say, 3 o'clock. And then you have a 3-hour break and then you go back in for a night flight.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you have multiple breaks throughout the day because you can't always get all of your clients to be back to back. So you have a work day sometimes of 14 hours. I don't know if that's legal, but I'm just going to.
Well, the only FAR rule, since you brought it up, is you cannot give dual given. So you cannot give flight instruction more than 8 hours in a 24-hour period.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with how much you can work.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, sometimes you're working from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So 14 hours. But you had like a 1-hour break in the morning and a 2-hour, 3-hour break in the afternoon.
Right.
You're not actually working 14 hours, but your body and your mind is, because you woke up for work and went to work at 7 and you're not actually getting off till 9.
Right.
Even though you had some breaks in between, it's not like you can do anything with those breaks.
The exact thing is going to happen tomorrow. You know, I have a day like that tomorrow.
Right. So I think that's difficult because on those breaks, it's like not quite enough time to come home sometimes. So a lot of times you're sitting at the school, which is sitting in our hangar, actually. Yeah. And just chilling and waiting because you can't do anything useful or effective with that time.
It's a very unique job. You know, like you have to manage your time. There's something to be said about being, you know, a leader towards your students and kind of forcing your schedule onto them. But that only goes so far.
Right.
You know, and the other thing that happens is we're a very busy school and airplanes go down for their 100-hour inspection. So then that will throw off the entire schedule. So then maybe my student wants to fly right after my first lesson. I want to fly, but then there's no airplane available. So then we have to wait, an hour or two for one to open up. So there's a lot of different parts that will never make it perfect for a 9 to 5.
Sure. Well, speaking of jobs and work-life balance, a really common question I get, and it came up on the last episode because the person that wrote in for the advice section asked how to get in business aviation, specifically how to be an aircraft broker. That's my full-time career. And I think a lot of people don't know what it's like to be an aircraft broker, what a day in the life looks like.
You want to tell them about your day?
Oh, we're not. Kevin's referring to I had the shittiest day at work today, but we're not going to talk about it. Oh, okay. Like fetal position under my desk with a space heater blowing in my face type bad day, but that's okay. We're past it. I would love to hear how you would answer the question. I want to hear your perspective of what my job is. If someone asked you like, hey, I know your wife's an aircraft broker. What is her job like? I'm curious how you would answer.
So it's everything that you're asking me that I answered no to. So you do not get to turn off ever. You are dealing with very high net worth individuals. You're dealing with teams of people on every single deal. And you, as the broker, are the point of contact in every single space. So we're on the West Coast right now. So by the time you wake up in the morning, you've already had at least 4 missed calls every single day.
From my East Coast
That's
client.
how you start the day, is behind.
Catapult.
Like obviously that's being on the West Coast, but like it's funny because you start the day behind. Then you take the entire morning, you get your pot of coffee, and then it's stuck on the kitchen counter, and then it's ice cold at 2 p.m. And then you finally catch up on your East Coast clients. You drink your coffee, and now it's West Coast, right?
Yeah.
And that cycle continues.
But beyond my time, so yes, I work lately 14, 15-hour days because that's right. I wake up and immediately start working to tend to my East Coast time zone people. And then I'm working usually till about 6 p.m. with clients for West Coast stuff on my West Coast time. And then after that, then we do this lovely podcast, and I work a ton during the week on the podcast, producing it and the social medias and pitching to sponsors and stuff like that, and then my own social media. So I run long hours. But beyond that, what does the job look like?
You're a desk job.
Yes.
And then you get out of office for the sole sake of, I would think, customer relationship building, because you do not have to leave your desk.
Right.
You can do everything from your desk. So 90% of what you do is behind your computer, sitting in the room. I think when you leave, it's really important, but that's not necessary.
Yes.
Customer relationship building is awesome, but you do this on the phone.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's a very odd job. Like, if so many people lately have asked this question, that's why we're talking about it again. Like, if you want to be an aircraft broker, you're not a pilot. You get to fly a lot. Like, it does happen.
I have the opportunity to,
Yeah.
but
Your business.
But you only get the opportunity to if you're a very accomplished pilot.
Right.
Because the only reason I get to fly airplanes as part of brokering is because I can hop on pretty much anyone's insurance under their open pilot and have enough total time and model experience, and the owner's comfortable with me moving the plane. But if you're a baby private pilot, you're not going to have opportunity to fly during this job because you're not going to be able to get insured on all these people's open pilot policy.
Right. And when you're doing these type of things, what she's describing is if she's got to move a listing plane to a pre-buy or for a sale, and the owner is not able, or she has to hire a ferry pilot, sometimes it makes a lot of sense for her to just take it upon herself and eliminate any other things that could happen. I want to go back real quick. When you sell an airplane, you're not like, I can't stress this. This is from like the outside perspective. You're not just dealing with the owner, the seller, or the buyer. Like, you have insurance, you have title, you have lawyers, you have boards, you have shops,
escrow, financing.
Like, I'd say in an average deal, is this a good thing? You have your own team, right? Your own ops. Like, in an average deal, to get something closed, you have to be connected with around 20 people.
20 is probably high. I would say at least 10.
At least 10, and you're the point of contact. So, like, that's every single deal. And you have, at times, 6+ deals running in one day,
plus all the active listings and people I'm working with, much more. But like things that are under contract,
like in that day, you have 6 different parties, so that's 60 people you're talking to.
Yes. Yeah.
In a day.
Sometimes
so it's a unique job also.
My phone will get literally overtamped by the amount of calls I am on constantly. But yes, I just think that a lot of people see my job when I post on Instagram about my job. Obviously, I'm not posting sitting at my desk. Like, that's not content. What I'm posting is when I am with the aircraft, or I'll post the photos of my listings or whatever. And I think people have the impression that an aircraft broker is an extremely sexy job, that you're out there touching, feeling, flying airplanes, and that you're constantly on the ramp and you're shaking hands and kissing babies. It is not that at all. It is, you are strapped to your laptop and your cell phone, and it is very transactional. The logistics of it, there's a lot of pieces that have to fall in place for a closing to get done effectively. And I think a lot of people have that misconception. I add a lot of pizzazz to my job because I am a rated pilot that can move planes around, so I do have that opportunity. And then I'm also a photographer. So that gets me away from my desk as well, because instead of hiring a photographer, which I still do sometimes, but it's quite expensive. So instead, I go take my own listing photos, which is phenomenal because then I get to see my own listing in person, which a lot of brokers do not. And a lot of my own planes, I do not. And I get to go meet that client, spend a couple hours with them, get to know them, which otherwise, if I had sent a photographer, like on those deals that I don't take the photos, I likely will not meet that seller ever in person, face to face. We will only have phone calls and emails.
Yeah. So real quick, you asked me the question, how about your work-life balance?
I told you last night that I saw this kind of funny thing that really resonated with me. I work from home. I work from a home office. Well, currently, I'm about to move to a bigger office momentarily. But I worked from home for the last 10 years. And I saw this thing. Someone said, I used to think I was real fortunate that I work from home, but then I figured out I'm an idiot. I live at work.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel lately is I'm an idiot. I live at work.
Let's be clear though. We choose to do this. And we also choose to have that balance. Like we do a lot of outside at work activities. You know, we
work hard, play hard.
Play hard. Like we don't just come home. You know,
yeah.
It's a very rare thing. Like we are out doing things.
Well, I just feel like we're in a chapter of our lives. We've spoke about this where work-life balance is very heavily work. When we do life, we do life big and we do it exciting and we have a lot of fun, exciting hobbies. But we're just at a time in our life where we're both growing our careers. We're both in big growth spurts, I'd say. And we don't have kids. We don't have pets. We are just focused on each other and our careers. So we have a lot of time to give to it. I think that if someone else were in my shoes and didn't have all the time to give that I do, maybe their career could look a lot different. And it probably does for other people. But I don't know. I just think sometimes you see opportunity in your career where you're like, if I grind out right now, this is going to pay dividends later. And that's where I feel like I'm at right now. So I'm choosing to be an insane workaholic.
That's the thing. Choose. Like we stress this enough. I know we are fortunate, but we've also worked our ass off and we choose to work hard.
Yeah, I love it.
We choose to do that.
I'll always be that way.
Yeah, we choose to party hard. We choose to put ourselves through this undue stress by going to Sun and Fun for a whole week when we have so much stuff we have to do.
Oh, you guys don't even know. You don't even know a sprinkle of it. We're going to keep that tight.
Yeah.
There's like literally 2 people listening that know what's actually going on in our life.
I'll give a hint. We're sitting on our floor right now.
Yeah, there's no furniture in our house. Let's say that.
Anyways, head to our website, CaptainJohnDoe.com. Submit your stories to our show. It's fully anonymous and we read it all. We always read everything because of you guys. This podcast exists because of you guys. We get messages all the time. We have a bunch of shops and people at Sun and Fun reaching out to meet us. I hope that we can see some people.
Yes. But yes, submit. And also remember, you guys can submit advice. The advice section is becoming one of my favorite parts of the show, hopefully for you guys too. So if you're flight training or wanting the career advice or it can be anything that you're struggling with or that's been on your mind that you want us to talk about, you can go on our website. It's in the same spot as submitting your story. It's also anonymous, and submit your question for advice. As always, follow us on social media. We post a lot on there. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And reviews. We love your reviews. Kevin has some spooled up for us. What you got there, Kevs?
All right. Mr. David F. Fun and educational. 5 stars only. Mindy and Kevin are the best. Who's your favorite, though?
No.
Educational and fun stories about others' missteps and mistakes. Light, fun, and an easy way to keep your flying skills sharp, since none of us can live long enough to make all the mistakes ourselves. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Good point. The Shins. Your next listen, 5 stars only. Wow. This is a great podcast. If you're involved with aviation or ever just wondered about what happens in the lives of those that fly for a living, this is the podcast for you. Learn about some of the crazy, wild, and just abnormal things that happen when you take humans high into the sky and contain them in a metal tube for hours on end. Many of these stories have never been told to protect the storyteller's or victim's identity. But with the guarantee of anonymity, now they're being told. Kevin and Mindy Lindheim do a spectacular job of telling and analyzing each story and breaking it down so anyone can understand the craziness of the story. Mixed in with a little of their personal lives, you truly feel like you're sitting across from them as you become friends with them and listen to what they have to entertain you with.
Thank Thank you. What a thoughtful review. I appreciate everyone who leaves a review. Thank you guys so much. Speaking of reviews and how much we love you guys, remember that we're doing a monthly merch giveaway all year long in 2026. Head to our Instagram, the Captain John Doe podcast Instagram. There will be posts there every month that you can comment on that gives you an entry, or you can go and submit a review just like the ones we read and just shoot us a DM that you did it. And then we will add you to the merch giveaway. You can head to the website, captainjohndoe.com, for more information. Okay, we have a little listener appreciation. Someone that wrote in. I'm going to read it real quick. I'm a female pilot of Mindy's age and have the privilege of flying international cargo on the Queen of the Skies.
Slay, Queen.
Slay. Every year since getting my ATP, I've sent a gift each year to the ground crew tower facility if they're in a country that celebrates Christmas, and to my hometown tower facility. It's important that as a pilot, I recognize what these wonderful people behind the scenes do in order to keep us flying. It's not always easy to get the item sent to an ATC facility, somewhat secretly, but it's worth the effort. Wishing Kevin all the best as he works his way through the airlines and the seniority system. Tailwinds.
Thank you very much. And thank you for recognizing everybody that helps. You know, we're trying
Stop playing with your Zyn can.
I can't help
You're distracting me.
We can't help but, always prioritize the people up front flying the planes. But, there are so many people involved in making these things happen. And showing appreciation is always really awesome. When I was a controller and during COVID and during government shutdown, so many organizations came together and, brought food every single day. I know it's sometimes hard to get stuff into air traffic facilities. You have to find a point of contact to set that up. But like we have a older gentleman in Orlando who every single holiday would bring us 2 boxes of donuts. Something simple. So thank you very much. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.
All right. The Solo I Never Wanted by, I was going to say some author's name, but
it's anonymous. Let it be anonymous. Get with it.
I'm sure you get tons of stories. So what? We're going to read it. I hope this one might get through. It did.
Okay, enough commentary from you. Read the freaking story.
If not, still a good story. After listening to some of the stories and hearing about solos, I knew I wanted to send this in. So, during COVID, I had time to pursue my dream of flying. I had it from the start. I loved flying. I was flying at least 4 times a week, 3 for sure. At 19 hours, I did my first solo. I told my CFI that I want it to be a nice day. No wind. Most use plane in the same runway we land at doing the most pattern work. This airport had 2 runways, runway 24 and runway 06.
No.
Sorry. This sometimes I can't read. Let me try it again.
Kevin, what is wrong with you today? You're reading.
What's wrong with
you're reading at a 3rd grade level right now.
I'm sorry, guys. All right, they got runway 24 and 6 and runway 15 and 33. So there's 2 runways.
Here we go.
With 24 being the most used, being a tower run airport. I had high hopes. We picked the day. On that day, the only thing good was the sun was shining. My plane was down, which was fine. I had flown a few others. But one I couldn't land great due to having these winglets for slower stall speed. None of the other had it, and I just didn't fly it enough. But anyways, it was windy. It was very cold, like 28 degrees cold. That is cold. We get in the plane, did 2 touch and goes to get a feel, and some landing on the runway that I never had to land on. The pattern I have never done before. And being so close to a class Charlie on that side of the pattern drops a little bit sooner. I was nervous. Well, my CFI asked if I still wanted to go. And being the guy that I am, I said, we will have to fly it someday. He got out. He had a radio to listen to my call to ATC. I taxied out, rolled onto the runway full power. I was thinking that I can't believe I was here alone. On rotate, I was hearing more wind than I should, but I just kept flying, trying not to worry too much. Once on the downwind, I pushed on the right side door. Yep, it was open. I didn't check and see if my CFI closed it all the way. So now I'm flying a plane I don't like, a runway I've never done any pattern work on. It's cold, and the wind and with the door being open just made it even colder. Once I got level, I reached over and slammed it hard. Somehow I got it, but I'm not sure it was a good thing to do. Either way, I came in with a slight crosswind, and with a little crabbing, I landed. Not a great landing. I hit hard, taxied back, and did my other two with good landings. ATC said, "Awesome job." I noticed my instructor wasn't out there, which he told me he was going to go watch me and listen. Once I got into the hangar, I noticed my instructor inside. My wife and kids never showed, and something he never told me and I didn't know. After the solo, I had my shirt cut off around other people, maybe other pilots and students. Hold on.
He thought he was going to have his shirt cut off around other people.
That's what I messed up. Okay, let me try that again. He thought he was going to have his shirt cut off around other people and pilots or students, but nothing. No shirt, no people, no signing the shirt. Just, hey, good job, and I left. What brought my experience to mind was when you told the story about Kevin soloed and everyone was cheering him on sitting in the back of trucks. And I was like, I didn't have nothing like that. But either way, I love flying, and even though I haven't in a while, I'm sure to get back to it. But running my company took too much time out. I hope this gets out and Kevin can read without messing it up. I messed it up 100 times.
Wait, that could not have been planned better. And this is so funny that you're reading this story because I could have well picked this story. That's hilarious. That's
Anyways, he had a couple more notes. He said, keep up the great work. P.S. I've been following for a long time. Back when Mindy was flying around with Steve-O.
What's up, Steve-O?
What's up, Steve-O? I was telling my instructor about watching videos, and he said he used to work at Textron Aviation and knew a girl who was becoming the face of Textron with social media and YouTube. But he left following a girl to Georgia, which didn't work out anyways. Okay, now I'm done.
That's okay. This is all hilarious. I love how much you botched the story and he knew you were going to.
So
he set you up for failure.
I'm going to say, this is my mistake because I know you guys write this in and don't really look for grammatical errors. Normally, I might add some commas here and there, and I didn't.
No, it couldn't have went any better. Let me tell you.
It goes to show that I did not proofread.
You really struggled through this. Like, I'm reading ahead while you're reading. I'm like, oop, he's gonna mess up there, and then you'd stumble. And
so let's go back to the actual story. So he went soloed. He tried to set the scene, saying he was going in a plane he never flew. He was landing on a runway he never landed on before, and his wife wasn't there, his kids weren't there. So like, I get it. You're already stressed, and then poof, the door pops open.
Okay, shame on your instructor, your CFI, for not properly closing the door and setting you up for failure on your first solo. What the hell?
Well, he didn't get set up for failure because he didn't panic.
He didn't panic. No, he did fine. But come on. Gosh. Okay. Sorry that happened to you.
This thing, though, this damn door popping open, it's become such like a prevalent issue. I last year alone, there was 5 incidents.
Okay. PSA right now. Everyone, when you're holding short of the runway and you're doing your final checks, you must do a door check. Because it is the silliest thing to get distracted by. Not silly, but it is such an easy thing to get distracted by. And it's caused a lot of accidents. It's caused deaths. And let's check it on the ground. This is no one's fault. This is just hey, we should all collectively start doing this.
You're being nicer than me.
Me and you have started to do that in our plane, door check, and we both slam our shoulders against the door. What? What?
Be
Tell me.
An instructor prick for a second. If you just follow the checklist.
No, you're being a serious instructor, which is really lame of you.
the Skyhawk has.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Little boy Kirk did it today. You think he's just making that up, or is that me because I trained him?
Probably because you trained him. Okay. It is not in the Cessna checklist. If it is, somebody correct me. I do not believe that a door... Well, okay, hold on. I lied. It does say doors, window, latches.
It does.
But I guess a lot of people skip over that.
They skip over it because it's one of the first things.
But it should say, like, door check. I don't know. It needs to be more in your face.
Like, the last thing on the checklist is transponder on your before takeoff check. I do agree. It should be door.
Because they loop it in on one line, I think. Now I'm remembering the checklist. It's like doors, latches, windows or something. And like, I think a lot of people see that and are like, yeah, the doors are shut, freaking obviously. But they don't know that means to push against the door and make sure they're properly latched. I don't know. I think that if it's not on your final items on your before takeoff checklist, you should write it in.
But my other thing that I was getting to is in your pre-departure briefing, it should be included.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm trying to get at. So put it somewhere.
My students, they do, their departure briefing, emergency briefing, and they also say if the door pops open, I'll fly the airplane, or if like we're together type of thing. We'll get to traffic pattern altitude and then I'll take controls and you shut the door. Or if
I like that you brief it.
Well, because there was literally 5 incidents last year alone and 2 of them were fatal because of a door.
No, that's smart.
And that bothers me. And that's something we can control, even though the doors pop open on these airplanes. I'm not judging anybody for a door.
No. I guess my point is not saying anyone did anything wrong except for the instructor. I'm just saying that if we can prevent more of these accidents, we should. Write it into your pre-checklist, put it into your pre-takeoff briefing. Do as much as you can, because Kevin's right. There is way too many statistics that this is an issue for us to overlook.
I can tell you from firsthand, from these doors popping open, they crack like an inch.
Oh, the Bonanza, any Bonanza owner right now is going to be shaking their head yes with me. The Bonanza is notorious for door openings because, at least on the G36 that I fly, it has 2 latches, and it's... especially on the new G36s, I know I'm getting extra bougie right now, the door seals are quite tight. Like, you really got to slam it and to get it shut. And sometimes you think that you put the handle goes in the correct position, but it's not. The latch didn't actually latch because it wasn't closed tight enough.
Yeah. And I think Cirrus addressed that issue. So all the G7s specifically have a new latch. You do not slam them, period.
Yeah.
They will latch on their own now. So it's a weird thing when you're hopping in from a Skyhawk to a new G7 Cirrus, because the Skyhawk, you want to be a little bit forceful to it.
Yeah. And then obviously, maybe not obviously, on pressurized airplanes, you'll have a CAS message associated to your doors. So the latches on most, it's either the latch or the door lock, depending on the model, is attached to a CAS message, which is a message that will show up on your avionics that says that a door is unlocked. That way, before you even taxi, before you take off anything, that a door needs to be addressed.
The other thing, back to the story, is I would like to know why no one was there, because
I'm sad for you.
So a lot of my students have a solo a lot similar like this, where we don't really get to solo at our home airport at Henderson because of, we're not going to blame the controllers, but you guys can interpret that. So we go to a local uncontrolled field that's really far away, so like their parents can't really go, but we make sure when we get back, like, we have signages and shirts and pictures and everything, no matter what.
Your flight school does a great job supporting the students through their milestones.
Like, you're not getting the audience while you're doing it, which I do dislike, but there's nothing we can do about that. But the end result is making sure we champion the hard work that you guys just did, and I think that's important, because I mean, for you soloing, I know what you had to do to happen.
I'm sorry that your people didn't show up and that you didn't get to do the shirt and all that. It's obviously not a requirement, but if any instructors are listening and have gotten lazy about this, just remember how important these days are for people. And even now, I've been flying for 13 years. 14 years, I still make sure that anytime any acquaintance of mine gets their license or solos or anything, that I make as big a deal of it as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I've done about 12 solos, I think, this year, and every single time I have the same nerves,
Yes.
same excitement.
Well, and all of your students that I know, I don't know all of your students, but the ones that I do know, I reach out to personally. When you come home and say they soloed or they passed or whatever, I reach out to them personally, like, hey, I heard the great news. I want to be in people's support circle, and they need to know that they're doing a great job. So I'm really sorry that you didn't have this great solo story to look back on. I will say, with that being said, take Kevin's story with a grain of salt. Kevin is the most spoiled person on planet Earth.
Easy.
Are you not?
We can have a vision jet.
No, you are. I mean, like, you are like intellectually, friendship, relationship, people spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are surrounded by some of the greatest, and you entered in aviation while a lot of our friends have already been doing great things in aviation. And so when you entered, just like how I said, I'm still supportive 14 years later with people that are doing it now. You got that same thing from our friend group who are stellar. And you got the most phenomenal solo day ever, where we literally had like a truck party.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, the location also dictated a lot of that too, because you guys could literally pull up next to the runway.
Yeah, my solo, I went to Embry-Riddle, so we couldn't solo at Daytona. That's a Class Charlie. They didn't do solos for us there. So me and an instructor that I barely knew, I didn't care about this guy. He didn't care about me. He just got assigned to me one flight before that. He was like my 5th instructor. We fly to this airport called Palatka in the middle of nowhere, Florida. And he gets out. I struggle to start the airplane. I remember that. Finally get it started. Did my 3 takeoffs and landings, come back, pick him up, went back to Riddle. And Riddle was kind of similar to your flight school, Kevin, where they brought out a person with a camera. I won't even call them a photographer, but they take a photo of everyone's first solo. So I got a photo with the airplane, one singular photo with me, my instructor, in the airplane. And then he did cut my shirt. I'm struggling to remember if he wanted to do that or if I made him do that. But I think I probably made him do it. And so I did have the shirt cut. And then I was like, you will be drawing on this and you will give it back. And he did.
We have specific solo shirts. They have a place to draw the diagram of the airport and name and instructor and all kinds of other things.
Well, your school's 10 out of 10 when it comes to this.
And a lot of pictures.
Yeah, and a lot of pictures. I have one photo and it's not even digital. It's only printed. Like, the only reason it's digital is because I scanned it. And my shirt cut.
Thanks for submitting it, and I'm happy we read it.
Me too. Well, now's my turn.
Yeah.
Wait, was there anything else in there?
Oh. You know, just you being a Textron face of the giant company and no longer.
Shout out Textron. I love you, Textron. Okay. I'm going to read actually a news story because it's been on my docket to read for a long time. I keep skipping it because I always prioritize our listener submissions, but I really want to check this off because it's very interesting. I will give a little trigger warning. There is some mentions of domestic violence in this. That's not the point of the story or why I wanted to share it, but you guys are going to find out this guy sucks. It's called Frontier Airlines pilot calls in bomb threat to harass ex-girlfriend.
Oh, that's fun.
This happened in August of last year. Hey, Kevin.
What'd I do?
Stop typing. Oh. You just updated on my computer. It's making noise over here. Okay. All too often, we hear of people calling in fake bomb threats for flights. Sometimes people do this when they're running late to the airport and they're scared they'll miss their flight. Sometimes it's because there's someone on board that they don't want on there, etc. Obviously, calling in a fake bomb threat requires exceedingly terrible judgment. However, this might just be the worst airplane bomb threat I have ever heard of, as reported by the Cincinnati Enquirer and flagged by PYOK. And this article, by the way, is from 1mileatatime.com. Frontier pilot makes bomb threat to ground ex-lover. A 25-year-old Frontier Airlines pilot has been accused of calling in a fake bomb threat for a flight on his own airline in order to harass a former girlfriend who was also a flight attendant at the airline. The pilot is facing domestic violence and harassing communications charges in Kenton County District Court. The pilot reportedly called in a bomb threat on his ex-girlfriend's flight to prevent her from attending a hearing about abuse charges that she had filed against him. Airline officials have confirmed the reporting party for the bomb threat was the pilot and have also confirmed that he was suspended at the time of the incident. However, the airline has refused to state whether he still works at the airline. For some more background, the couple started dating in November 2024. By March 2025, she accused him of assaulting her twice, throwing her to the ground, putting his hands around her neck, scratching and bruising her, according to the complaint. He also sent derogatory and profane text messages and voicemails. While she initially tried to handle matters privately and approach his parents, the situation escalated and she ended up getting a restraining order against him. That brings us to this bomb threat. The alleged bomb threat happened around 3 p.m. on May 8th, 2025 at Sarasota Airport, SRQ, that's in Florida, prior to a Frontier flight to Cincinnati, CVG. The flight attendant was traveling on this flight as a passenger in order to attend the court hearing the following day. According to the Sarasota Manatee Airport Authority Police Department, authorities were called to the Frontier flight as a gate agent said that the plane's pilot wanted one of the passengers removed. So why did the pilot think she had caused a problem? He had received a call from corporate headquarters stating that she may be planning a bomb attack on the airplane. The claim of a bomb threat was later tracked to her pilot ex-boyfriend. The flight attendant believed that he fabricated the whole story, hoping police would restrain her and keep her from attending the court hearing. She ended up being questioned by police, but was immediately released and then took a different flight. The flight attendant resigned from her position at the airline in July 2025. However, she believes that her ex-boyfriend remains on the company's payroll, though she doesn't know in what capacity. Then there's some commentary from the author that I'll read real quick. This level of bad judgment should be career-ending. While I'm often sympathetic to the things that cause people to act irrationally, I think this is a situation where the behavior should be career-ending. To put it politely, if you're an airline pilot and you think it's appropriate to call in a bomb threat to stop an ex-lover from attending a court hearing, you lack the sound judgment that should be required to have so many people's lives in your hands. Of course, that says nothing of his alleged pattern of abuse, including physical abuse, which seemingly poses a threat to other employees, especially given that he previously dated a flight attendant. You don't want to know how he might act on a layover around other crew members. Credit to his ex-girlfriend for stepping up, having the courage to hold him accountable, and I'm sorry for everything she had to go through as a result of this. Bottom line, as a Frontier Airlines pilot has been accused of calling in a bomb threat on his ex-girlfriend's flight in order to prevent her from attending a court hearing. What despicable behavior on part of the pilot, both the alleged abuse and the bomb threat. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't feel very comfortable flying with a pilot that did something like this.
I think that we all would agree.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah. I mean, that's about as bad as it gets. Like, it's hard for me to even understand, a professional pilot at an air carrier because of all of the things that you have to go through to do something like that. Because he knew it's so malicious. Like, he knows how bad this would be, saying something like that and like the ramifications, and also how bad of a place he was in to do that. Because you can't be that numb to not knowing that this is going to be
tracked back to you.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we can talk about this all day. Like this is black and white. Obviously, we don't know if this is real or not, but let's make
it's a news article.
Okay.
It's real.
That's
No, this wasn't a submission. This was a news article I found from the Cincinnati News.
like as you say this, like I'm thinking about all like these airline prep questions I have, like because they always ask these weird, unique questions, like of potential domestic abuse or sexual harassment with flight attendants and captains, and I've never been asked if your coworker put a bomb threat in.
Because that's freaking insane. That's freaking insane. And what's bothersome to me is, to your point, if you're an airline pilot, you have made it through so many,
especially at Frontier, like that's
so many milestones, and a lot of those milestones are character assessments, right? Even check rides, they're looking for hazardous attitudes, which this guy has all of them. And to get through that many check rides and interviews and all of this stuff that's about your character as well as your technical expertise, meaning like you're a decently smart human if you're made it to an airline pilot status.
Human, like decent human, because everything in aviation is self-reporting. Because like the FAA makes it a really, really big deal if you lie about something.
Right, but it's just alarming to me because I will say I generally trust people in aviation. To everything we just said. It's like if someone has made it through all those hoops, that stranger to you is the most vetted stranger you'll ever meet. That way, I just think that like strangers in aviation automatically have a leg up in my eyes because I know they've been vetted by DPEs, instructors, check airmen, airlines. And it's like, oh, you must be an okay person. You're not an insane person.
Yeah.
But then this guy fell through the cracks.
Yeah, which we've heard a couple of those stories, the past year or two, a lot of mental health type situations. Obviously this is screaming that, but this is egregious. I mean, there's no sympathy here on our end for calling it a bomb threat.
No, or for the alleged charges against his girlfriend. What a piece of shit. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. No. Good on her, though, for standing up for herself. And that's just a crazy story. Imagine being on that flight and the captain coming on saying that there's been a bomb threat, and then to find out that it's a different pilot at the company that called it in.
Terrifying. I would be shocked if this person was still employed. I know in the article they said they're still employed, but I would be beyond shocked.
I would be too. Hopefully he's not, because to the author's point, he obviously has a lot bigger problems in his brain dome than just this one incident. And he shouldn't be responsible for hundreds of people's lives every day.
Yeah.
That's alarming. Yeah. Well, that's my story.
Way to lower the mood. Gosh.
That's my story.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Once again, Sun and Fun right now. I don't know if you knew this, but also it's my birthday weekend. So if you see me at Sun and Fun,
oh my gosh.
I'm 29 years young now.
Okay. You don't get to do that. That's a girl thing.
Why you keep saying that?
Girls get to be 29 forever, not boys.
29, right?
No, you have to be 34.
I'm 34.
Yeah, you don't get to do the 29 trick. That's a girl thing.
I'm a 34-year-old instructor.
You also don't come off as 29. Like, I don't.
What are you trying to say?
That you don't come off as 29. I don't look at you and say that's a 29-year-old man. Sorry.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. Please come and say us, bother Schmindy, please. Is my favorite thing in the world is to go to Sun and Fun in Oshkosh and watch, because it's eventful.
Yeah.
And we are here to say hi, and we'll have some stickers. So,
all right.
See you guys.
Thunderbirds are inbound soon. We got to go. Bye.
Thanks for flying with Captain John Doe. If you have a story to share, visit CaptainJohnDoe.com and stay anonymous. New episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe leave a review, and tell your favorite crew members.